Niners. You know who's not? I'll give myself a 2 for the segue. The Golden State.
Disgusting to watch. Thanks.
Thank you. The Golden State Warriors. For as much as going right, and we'll continue to take your calls and text on the Niners, but I wanted to, we have the Warriors game playing tonight, so we'll obviously talk a lot about it tomorrow. Bonte Hill and Joe Shiasky, they'll be back at it. It'll be a big topic of conversation. They're taking on a very good Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner-led Orlando Magic squad. Again, coverage of that starting at 6 o'clock right here on 95.7 The Game with Warriors Live. Tip-off at 7, where the great Tim Roy will be on the call. Download the Odyssey app, favorite 95.7 The Game. You can stream that live and local here as well. So, for as much as going right with the 49ers, everything could be going wrong with the Golden State Warriors. There's question mark galore. When's Draymond coming back? The indefinite suspension's there. Andrew Wiggins has been hot and cold. Klay Thompson has turned back into bad Klay Thompson. Stephen Curry, you can see the weight of the franchise getting to him mentally and physically at time. If Steph doesn't have a good game, this team's losing. Chris Paul's in and out of the starting lineup. Now you got Kevon Looney the bench. Trace Jackson-Davis, he's going to be up. Pajemski back to the bench. What's going on with Moses Moody? Apparently he can't get minutes. Jonathan Kuminga's upset. That's what, 10 things I just listed? What's going right with the Warriors, Sam Lubman? Chase Center's fun, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the food I had on Friday night, I had some pretty good marinated short rib for dinner in the media seating area. That's kind of cool.
That's what we've come to.
That was no, there was really. I mean, I was at that game on Saturday night, Spadoni, and it just the Mavs they jump off to a great start. They have a lead there. The Warriors mounted a brief charge there in the second quarter. I believe the score was 36-33. They have a fast break. They get the ball to Klay Thompson, and Klay just absolutely fumbles the ball away, can't complete it. And the Mavs went on like a 13-0 run there right after that. And it took the entire air. It took all the air out of the arena. It was just felt like the Warriors they felt cooked after that. And they staged comebacks here and there. They had moments, but every time they got close, the Mavericks keep pulling away. And they look disjointed. They look slow. They just look like they're not into it. And Steve Kerr kind of talked about it in the game. He said, this team is, they're missing the grit and the energy that most teams have. And well, you know what? Let Coach talk about that.
First of all, I love the guys on this team. We have a really good group. They have a good chemistry. They get along well. We haven't found that grit that every team needs, every good team needs, where you pull together and you just play for the group. We're not there yet. And that's a problem. We, like I said, we got great guys, love every one of them, but until this team really connects in a way that is solely dedicated to winning each and every game, then we're going to be stuck in this place. So we need to get there.
I'm sorry, you're seeing me on the YouTube and Twitch. I'm laughing. I love these guys. That's the first thing I'm saying.
I love these guys, but great. Yeah,
I love these guys. That's the worst thing you could say right now. I love these guys. Oh my God, that feels like this is the end of the season. Listen to this. Listen to your head coach talking about the grit of this team early on.
First of all, I love the guys on this team.
Thank you.
We have
I didn't
really
know that,
group.
Steve. I know you love the guys on the team. That's not what I want to hear right now.
Before I throw them under the bus, I want to say how much I like them.
Are you come on, man? That was my best Mohegan right there, by the way. Come on, man. Come on. This is the season. This next month or so. Guys are playing for their future on this squad. There needs to be a coming to Jesus moment for this team. I don't know when it's going to come. Is it the trade deadline when everything gets mixed and match? I see a lot of Warriors fans saying, hey, look what Rob Pelinka did last year with the Lakers. They revamped everything and they went to the conference finals. I don't foresee that happening with the Warriors. And that was a fluke, by the way. Look at the Lakers. They stink. They're 17-17. Wheels are coming off. LeBron's 39 years old, and they're leaning on him still in his 50th year in the league. That's not a recipe for success, just like it's not a recipe for success to lean on Steph freaking Curry at this age. That's fine that he's doing this, and he's looking like he's the best in his career. Like he's somehow doing the Tom Brady thing. And I know he's referenced Tom Brady, getting better as they get older and stuff like that. But there comes a point where even Steph is taking on too much. And right now he's taking on way too much because if he doesn't have a good game, this team loses. Klay Thompson's not stepping up. Andrew Wiggins, he's consistently inconsistent. That's what we've been talking about. Draymond Green's nowhere to be found. I'm not expecting him to come to the rescue anytime soon. That way, Now you're leaning on the rookies. You're looking on Trace Jackson Davis. Okay, showing some nice things. Now we're kicking Looney down to the bench. Sorry, Kevon. That's just cost of doing business. Jonathan Kuminga, he's been inconsistent. After talking that talk, kind of wet the bed there. And then you got Brandon Podziemski, who I've liked a lot. But all of a sudden now we're shifting Chris Paul into the starting lineup, who's old, and I love Chris Paul. He's been doing some nice things off the bench. I don't know if I want him in a lineup, a starting lineup, with Stephen Curry, who's already limited on defense, with Klay Thompson, who's already been struggling on the defensive side. Like what are we doing here?
I mean, Chris Paul. First off, Chris Paul is not an issue. It being in
defensively, he is.
Well, yeah, but I mean that every one of the Warriors. Is
they're going up against a really big team, is what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
In the Orlando Magic.
I thought he held his own again on Saturday night in the starting lineup. The reason I don't like Chris Paul in that starting lineup is because he does his best work with the second unit. The second unit does their best work when he is in. Again, the Warriors. They made some changes on Saturday night. They put Trace Jackson Davis in the starting lineup.
I like that.
I like that a lot too. I think it helped him out a little bit early on. But to your point, Spadoni, like the Mavericks, they just got off to too good of a jump there, and the Warriors were playing behind the entire night, and they never felt in it. Like even when they got the game close, you never felt like, oh, maybe they'll pull this out. And
stop me if you've heard this before. The Warriors had a slow start.
I know. Even you thought that maybe throwing Trace Jackson Davis in there would change things. Here's what Steve Kerr had to say about that lineup change.
Boost defensively. We the last couple weeks with that starting group, the defensive numbers really weren't great. I liked the energy shift that we got from it, a couple weeks ago. Defensively, that lineup wasn't holding up. So we were looking for better defense from the start and wanted to get Steph more involved as well. And we felt like getting Chris on the floor would, maybe unlock Steph a little bit. But the defense struggled all night. I mean, they scored 132 points and we just couldn't stop them. Offensively, we were fine. You score 122. That should be enough. Took care of the ball, rebounded pretty well, but we just couldn't get stops. So it's hard to win in this league, especially in the modern NBA. You can't get stops because everybody can score them.
Yeah, it's hard to win this league when you can't play defense. Now he's trying again. He wanted to put TJD in to try and get a better defensive lineup. The Mavericks shot 56% in that first quarter. He thought that Chris Paul could unlock Steph a little bit. Steph was 1 of 7 and 0 of 4 from 3 in that first quarter. That plan did not work. I'd be curious to see if Steve continues with that lineup. One lineup I did kind of like, though, from that game Saturday night, Spadoni, was in the second quarter, after the Mavericks went on that 11-0 run after that botch fast break there. Kerr calls timeout, brings in Steph, Podziemski, Wiggins, Saric, and GP2. They were down 49-38 at the time, and they go on a 12-0 run there coming in. I thought that was the best they looked all night. Obviously, when you're outscoring your opposition 12-0, you're going to look pretty good. But as far as all the lineups they had that night, that group of five there, Steph, Pod, Wiggs, Sarge, and GP2, I thought that was probably one of their better units of the night. I don't know, maybe that's an avenue you start to go with there. But if you're looking for any sort of five-man unit that you can count on right now, like, is there 5 guys you could throw on the court right now where it's just like, yeah, I'm feeling really good about what you're going to give me right now?
The only 5 guys I'm trusting is the cheeseburger restaurant. Dave in Pleasanton wants to join in the conversation. 888-957-9570. What's going on, Dave?
Hey, guys, was that Larry sounding super tired that picked up the phone?
That was Nahigian.
I had to ask.
That was Nahigian.
That was our boss fresh off a plane coming right into work because he's a gamer that way.
Oh, wow. Wow, dedicated. Okay, so one thing I noticed from watching the Mavs game is I really like, as far as the bigs go, I really liked Saric and Price in there at the same time. Saric was doing a little bit of addition inside the paint that was really exciting to see. And then obviously he can hit those three-pointers. But I don't like that Moody's not playing, but I think defensively what you guys were just saying, if we had Steph in there, Moody, Kuminga, Saric, and Price, that was fun to watch, that 5. And one thing I did like about watching that box score is we had a bunch of guys in double digits because the other guys were getting minutes. That's really all I got, but I love that lineup. Thanks.
That's Dave in Pleasanton. Appreciate the call, Dave. 888-957-9570. A lot of questions for the Warriors. Does Steve Kerr have the answers? Are the answers here within this roster, or they got to make some moves. We got the trade deadline a month away, so there'll be plenty of conversation in regards to that. But the fact of the matter is, though, Sam, if Steph Curry and Klay Thompson aren't playing well, you're not winning a game.
No, and
that's what it comes down to. Steph Curry needs to play well for this team to win. And 9 of 25 and 6 of 15 from beyond the arc for 25 points. It's not good enough.
Yeah,
it's just not. I like to see the assists up. I enjoy that part of the game. But if he's not scoring at a historic level, this team's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Which is frustrating because I hate that it has to all be on Steph because it's always been all on Steph. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's getting older now, guys. He's 35 going on 36? Mm-hmm. He's getting up there.
Yeah, 25 points on 25 shots. That is abysmal. Almost as abysmal as Klay going 1 of 11 from the floor, 3 points on Saturday night. He was the lost Klay Thompson that we do not like to see. And that's just going to be the thing with Klay Thompson all year long. He's going to have stretches where he's red hot and he's looking like the Klay of old. And we're going to say, Klay's back. Why won't you ever doubt him? And it's going to be tough to not fall for that banana in the tailpipe. And, Bonte, he comes here every morning. He's super excited for what Klay Thompson's doing. And it's just like, dude, you know it's not going to last. And now we're starting to see it. He's starting to regress into the not very good Klay Thompson. And when that happens, it creates ripple effects throughout the rest of this team. And so it's going to be on Klay to figure out a way to break out of these funks because I honestly think that's what's going to be Klay Thompson for the rest of his career. The hot stretches are going to be really, really good. The cold stretches are going to be really, really cold. And eventually, the cold stretches are going to last a lot longer, and the hot stretches are going to start to, get a little bit shorter here. A question here, Spinelli, before we get out of here. This is a great time to bring this question up 3 minutes before Fast Five.
Sure.
And we can get into this the rest of the week. If you're the Warriors and you're looking towards the future, what is the most... I think we can agree right now. Status quo for the Warriors is not working. They need to make changes. They need to pick a future path and stick with it. Is the better option to trade everything away that isn't Steph Curry, trade whoever you need to trade, young guys, veterans, anyone who is not Stephen Curry, put them on the trading block and move them for whatever pieces you think you can get back? Or do you just say, screw it, we're going to roll with the younger guys long term? What is the most likely avenue to result in the next championship for the Warriors?
That's going to be incumbent on what Steph Curry wants. And the thing is, and this is why Bob Myers stepped away because he was too close with these guys. And I don't know how close Mike Dunleavy is with Stephen Curry. I don't know. But if I'm Mike Dunleavy, I consider that.
Yeah,
you're already locked. You're locked into Draymond. I don't think you're moving him.
I think they can find a way to move him.
I don't know
there's always a way to move. He's making about $22-ish million right now.
I don't know if Steph Curry wants him moved though. That's the thing.
Well, honestly, at some point though, then if you're Mike Dunleavy, you got to grow a pair and say, you know what, Steph, I'm in charge here. Because where's Steph gonna go? I know, again, he's a superstar. He can ask out anywhere, but Steph, you got to ask. You got to go and ask Steph Curry. Steph, what do you want? Do you want your buddy Draymond here, or do you want to get another Larry? Who do you think? What would you rather have
Warriors fans think. They want
I know,
Steph
but it's about Steph, though.
This is always about Steph.
Do you want to get rid of these guys and bring in guys who will help you out and win a championship? Think about what the Lakers did at the end of the 2000s, where obviously the Shaq and Kobe Lakers, that era dies out. They almost fall apart. Then they start bringing new guys in. They brought in then Ron Artest, Pau Gasol. They had also Lamar Odom. They brought all these guys in. And they got Kobe 2 more rings. They extended his dominance through the end of that decade. If you're Steph, you're looking at the guys you got right now. The guys you have on your team are not helping you win a championship.
The difference with the Kobe one, though, is he was younger than Steph is now. Kobe was his 29, 30 years old, 31. So he was a little younger. Steph's a little older now. Now, I understand he's aged better than what Kobe did. Obviously, all the injuries, the different position, the size, the frame, different stuff in regards to that. But when it comes to Stephen Curry in this squad, he has known, Sam, throughout his NBA career when it came to winning those championships has been Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. Those have been the guys. Now, Looney's been there for some of them. KD was there for some of them. Iguodala's now gone. But it's been those
three.
Two.
Yeah.
It's those 3 guys, that trio right there. And it's easier for us to say right here, speaking on the radio to all you lovely people, hey, you know what? I think it's just time to, rip the Band-Aid off, move on from those guys, Steph. It's very hard to do that. It's easier said than done. I agree with you. And I don't know if you're saying this, but I agree with you that Steph needs a total revamp here with some of these guys. Whether it's, is it going to be enough to move Wiggins and Kuminga for, a player to be named Siakam or something like that? I don't know. I don't know if that's in the cards, but these are the questions that Mike Dunleavy has to answer And it always comes down to, is Stephen Curry going to be the best player? And Steiny's actually been talking about this. I think it's interesting. And Steiny and Evan are going to be here in about 10 minutes to break it all down. They'll be talking about the Niners. They'll be talking some Warriors, I'm sure. Is Stephen Curry good enough as a 1 to still lead you to a title? Or does he need a 1A, 1B / situation? Like what I saw with LeBron and AD. Is that what it needs to be now? Can he be that guy? I know they just won a title a couple years ago, but that was a couple years ago. This is now. Could Steph Curry still be that guy to carry everything around him? He hasn't done it without Draymond. He hasn't done it without Clay. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out towards the trade deadline. And what does Draymond come back? That's another little situation here to monitor. Anthony Slater was on with us last week. Our 95.7 The Warriors insider covers the team for The Athletic, Sam. And I know we got Fast Five here in a minute. Is Draymond coming back this month? Anthony seems to think it's going to be in the middle of January. So I'm looking at the schedule right now for the Golden State Warriors as I pull it up. There we go. So we got Orlando, Denver, Detroit, Toronto, New Orleans. January 10th, next Wednesday, is the wrap up this homestand. Then you got a long road trip. Then you come back against the Mavs January 19th, a Friday, for a homestand. It was a 5-game homestand. Is that where it's going to be? 888-957-95.